why Paraguay offers the fastest free residency in 2024. And I'm also going to compare Paraguay residency with other very prominent popular residency options in Latin America. First of all, you need to understand that Paraguay does not require economic solvency proof to issue your temporary residence permit. This often shocks people because they looked around, right? They were browsing and they came to the realization that Costa Rica, Argentina, other countries in the region, say Panama, they all want more commitment from you, but Paraguay does not want to see how much money you have in the bank. All that Paraguay cares about at this moment in time is that you are from an ally country, from a country that enjoys visa-free access to Paraguay, and two, that you have a clean criminal record. These two things are mandatory. You must have them to get Paraguayan residency in 2024. Oftentimes people look at Mexico and they're like, if I want to apply for Mexican residency in my home country, I have to prove income that's well above of what I'm making right now in that home country. So people have to show like a lot of passive income to get residency in Mexico if they apply at the consulate or embassy in the home country. Typically they have to show an income of anywhere from like 4,500 to 5,000 plus K a month. And if you have a dependent, you actually have to add a big amount on top so that the Mexican government sees that you can actually support not only yourself but also your dependents while you're living in Mexico on temporary residency. The requirements have gone up a lot. In Paraguay, you don't have to prove any income to get temporary residency. In Mexico, the amount is more than what many people make in America and Canada. What about Panamanian residency? A very popular option, used to be more popular than it is today. What you need to do, actually you have to do this, you have to incorporate a Panamanian corporation. That's step number one. Step number two is for you to become an employee of your own Panamanian corporation. And step number three is to pay yourself a salary. And you want to do this because if you don't, you may not be able to convert from temporary residency in Panama to permanent residency in Panama. And to do this, the government wants to see how much you have paid yourself in salaries and whether you have paid any payroll taxes back to the Panamanian government. If you have done it, you may be able to convert to permanent residency. In Paraguay, to convert from temporary residency to permanent residency, you don't need to prove any income at all. You don't have to show proof of economic solvency. You don't have to prove how much money you have, no net worth requirements, no savings requirements, really nothing. But what you will need, one more time, is a clean criminal record. So technically, during the time that you were on temporary residency in Paraguay, you should not have committed to any crimes that would then appear on your criminal record, which would prevent you from obtaining permanent residency in Paraguay. Because how it works is that before the 90-day window closes, so your temporary residency is valid for 2 years, before the 90-day window closes, you want to file your change of status. The change of status is in place to convert from temporary to permanent residency. And only if you meet all the requirements again will the Paraguayan authorities issue your permanent residency permit. These two things are mandatory, right? For you to be from an ally country, we've already talked about this, because if not, you have to get an entry permit into Paraguay, which is very difficult to obtain these days. We're doing it. It's a very tedious process, so I don't recommend it unless you're a person of special skills and unless you have really sound connections in Paraguay. Don't do it. Now, there's some considerations here, some real considerations. People think, oh, Paraguayan residency comes with all the perks and all the pros, and there are no negatives attached to my paper residency. Technically, it isn't even a paper residency because you have to stay in Paraguay for at least 1 day per year to maintain temporary residency. As of July 2024, you're looking at a 1 day per year minimum stay to not lose your temporary residency in Paraguay. However, in the event that you should decide to convert to permanent residency in Paraguay, you're looking at a minimum stay of 1 day every 3 years. These requirements are subject to change anytime. At any time, the requirements can change, right? And we don't know what the requirements will be a year from now, 2 years from now. But technically, at some point in the future, Paraguay could say, hey, you know what? We have so many foreigners now on temporary residency or whatever, permanent residency. And these guys, they're not spending any time in our country, they're not adding too much value, they're not contributing to the economy enough, they are not paying themselves a salary, let's say that's from a local company, we're not collecting any tax revenue from these people, we may have to do something to raise income, because that's what governments want. They want to raise income. And as of 2024, Paraguay's temporary residency is one of the best ways for the country to collect more revenue. That's why they're doing it. But on the other hand, as I've pointed out, Paraguay does not want to see people with a criminal record. This is the only thing that you can't have, and you also must be from an allied country. If not, it's gonna get real tough. Let's talk about the tax implications that come or don't come with Paraguayan residency. Oftentimes people are thinking about, I have more options available. Argentina is a very valid option. However, Argentina taxes you on your global income. Of course, that's in the event that you become a legal tax resident and live in Argentina for the majority of time each year, which technically is a requirement for you to maintain residence in Argentina. Argentina does not embrace a territorial tax system. Argentina taxes you on your worldwide income. And let's not even talk about wealth taxes. So to live in Argentina, you really must love the country. You must be okay with paying taxes. We talk to clients every week that tell us, you know what, I would never do anything that goes against the legal code of the country where I currently reside. I do everything by the books. I am not a tax cheat. And I want to go into Argentina and pay my fair share back to the Argentine authorities to help the country. We have many clients that are perfectly fine paying taxes. They now live in the United States and they're paying their fair share to the United States government. To them, that's the cost of doing business, right? Paying taxes is the cost of doing business. And if you run a US LLC, if you have a company in America, a lot of people think that, hey, it's actually normal for me to have to pay my taxes, my fair share. So they're not bothered by it. Other people are like, hey, I want to completely minimize my taxes, to the single digits. That's their mentality. And some even want to pay 0%, right? And they will only be happy if they pay 0%. Can't be any more than 0%, has to be 0%, right? So we're all uniquely different. However, in Argentina, if you want to do things by the books, right? If you want to follow the legal code of the Argentine system, you would have to pay your fair share of taxes, including all the income that originated from worldwide sources. Should you have Argentine residency, this is a requirement. On the other hand, Paraguay does not tax most of your foreign sourced income. However, there are some exceptions, and if you want expert consulting on this issue, please book a consultation with us if you're interested in obtaining Paraguay residency. As a rule of thumb, Paraguay will not tax your foreign sourced income. If you bring certain income with you into Paraguay, depending on the threshold, you may be asked questions. That's a matter of fact. Depending on how much money you want to bring in and depending on what the source or sources of the money are, they may ask you questions, right? Most countries have a questionnaire where they want to know these 10 things about the money that you bring with you into the country. This is very normal. And even in emerging countries, this has become more prominent. Even in Southeast Asian countries. For instance, now in Thailand, they will tax you on your foreign sourced income if you bring it in. In Paraguay, probably not. But you have to provide proof of the source of the funds, right? There are some things that you may have to do, but it's still a lot better than many other countries. But as I've said, as a rule of thumb, Paraguay will not tax most of your foreign sourced income, but exceptions may apply. If you're interested in obtaining a residence permit in Paraguay, please contact us now. We're running a special this month that you don't want to miss. We have some amazing packages available. Get in touch with us now. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite, and we see you in the next video, and we see you very soon in Paraguay.